What's going on, Hurricanes fans? Got to talk about the Louisville Cardinals versus the Miami Hurricanes. And we're playing them on a Friday, which feels weird. It seems like for whatever reason, we always play Louisville on Friday and Virginia Tech on Thursday. I don't know what that is. Maybe I've made that up in my mind, but it's just what it feels like. So I want to tell y'all a quick little story. So my wife, she was the valedictorian of our high school. She was born with this innate ability, with this crazy talent where she could memorize a bunch of information and she could spit it out on tests all day, every day. That's how she was able to get straight A's from the time she was in kindergarten all the way through college. That's how she ended up being the valedictorian. She was just born with a gift to be able to memorize and produce the information on tests. I was the opposite. Not the opposite, but I wasn't so fortunate. I had to work for every single thing that I got. I had to study like crazy just to get B's all the time through school. I was a B student. Every now and again, I'll surprise you and get a C. Every now and again, I'll surprise you on a good day and give you an A. But most of the time, throughout my entire schooling career, I was a B student. There was not much that I could do to go above a B. I could study like crazy. I could join a study group. Whatever I did, the most that my capacity could reach was B most of the time. B level, just what I was. The reason why I tell that story is because that's what reminds me of this Miami Hurricanes Louisville Cardinals game. Miami, they have the talent, the innate ability, God given gifts to be a national championship team. They've got talent all over the field. Most of the time, they should be able to win these games by 2 or 3 scores when they're playing against most of the teams they're lining up with. When you look at Louisville, they're just a B team. If they can play as hard as they can play the best game that they possibly can, and they might surprise you and do something crazy every now and again, but the majority of the time, their God-given ability is just going to be able to get them to that B level. It's just what they are. I'm not saying it would be impossible for them to beat the Hurricanes because it is definitely possible. But this is a game that the Hurricanes should win by multiple scores. But the game has got to be played on the field. I think we can all admit to that. So the Hurricanes, their God's gifts should be able to take care of what Louisville has been gifted with. The talent level of the Miami Hurricanes is far greater than Louisville. It's just a fact. All right. So was I surprised to see that the Hurricanes are favored by 13 and a half? Actually, no, I wasn't. I thought that sounded just about right. And then like they have the matchup predictor here. Hurricanes are at 85%. Louisville's at 15%. That sounds about right to me. The main thing I want to talk about, not the main thing, but the first thing I wanted to talk about in today's video, most folks will want to start with Louisville's offense, but I don't want to start there actually. I want to start with the strongest part of their team, which is their defense. So if you look at the NCAA rankings as far as defense is concerned, Miami is number 16 in the country, their defense. Honestly, I thought we'd be ranked a little better than that. I thought we'd probably be in the top 10, like maybe 8 or 9, but it is what it is. We're 16 right now. So just guess where Louisville is. If you had to guess, would you say that they're better or worse than 16? And if you said that they are better, you're correct. Louisville is number 12 as far as their defense is ranked. And I know a whole lot of folks is going to say, well, look at the teams that they've played, which is a fair argument. If you just go and look at the teams that they've played, it's nothing. I mean, it's not great. You know what I'm saying? Like they've played against EKU, JMU, BGSU, like Bowling Green. Like, come on now. But then they played against Pitt, and Pitt scored 27 points. Okay. And then they played another real team, and that team scored 30 points. So I don't really know if their defense is based on the fact that they haven't really played too many good teams, or just, I don't know. To me, it seems like they really haven't played anybody great. And the teams that they did play that's pretty good, those teams perform pretty well. But all I can do is go based on what the stats are showing me. And the stats are showing me that they have a really good front four. Their linebacking core is not so great. And their safeties and defensive backs is just okay. That's what the film shows me. Stats say that they're the 12th best defense in the country. So, hey, It is what it is on that. Okay. I don't know what else to say about that. Now let's go through their team real quick. I mentioned at the beginning that they're a good team and no one should ever confuse them for being a great team. Nobody should confuse them for being a great team. Everybody that I look at on their team, everybody I see on their depth chart, it screams good at best. It screams good. No one's great. They're all B students. They're all B level athletes, not A athletes, not A plus athletes, not C athletes either. They're all right in that B level. So you look at Miller Moss. He's a player that actually I was interested in getting playing for the Hurricanes this year before we ended up getting Carson Beck. Whenever I saw Cam Ward leave, and then I saw the players that were on Miami's team still, as far as the quarterbacks go, I knew we had to go and get a transfer. I knew it. And one of the players that I was looking at heavily was Miller Moss. I saw him coming from USC. I saw some of the good games he had there. I saw some of the bad games he had there. And I thought the good games were a little closer to who the real Miller Moss was compared to what I saw from the bad Miller Moss, if that makes sense. Um, so far, he's 120 for 179 on the year, which is not great. 67%, not bad either. He's thrown for a little more than Carson Beck has at 1358. Here's the thing that I'm really emphasizing. I've told y'all before, when it comes to touchdown and interceptions, typically you want to be at a 3-to-1 ratio, and it'd be nice, really nice, if you can get to like a 4-to-1 ratio. That's where you see players like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. They live in that 4-to-1 ratio where you'll see them have 28 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. That's what you really, really want. But if you get to a 3-to-1 ratio, you're doing pretty good too. Really good. Miller Moss is not even at a 2-to-1 ratio, y'all. He's got 7 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That tells you right there, like, he's not killing him. He's not killing it so far. He's just not. The one thing that people always say about quarterbacks is especially true against Miller Moss. It was true about Tom Brady. It's been true about Peyton Manning. If you pressure a quarterback, most of the time they're going to have some concerns. They're going to be throwing the ball to the wrong team, right? And that has been like a crazy fact when it comes to Miller Moss. If you get some pressure on him, he's not the most mobile guy, and he will start throwing the ball to the other team for sure. So I'm going to tell y'all right now the secret to this game. If our front four, without blitzing, can consistently get pressure on Miller Moss and we're allowed to drop 7, we're going to blow them. We'll win by 17 plus if that's the case. If we can get pressure on him consistently without bringing that 5th player, he's going to throw 1 or 2 interceptions. He'll probably fumble one time, and we'll win by 17 plus points, 3 plus scores. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Now, their running backs, they're not great. They're not bad, but they're not great. Again, not A, not A plus, not C, not C minus. Solid B running backs, solid B. The one player that I can actually say might be, well, probably, no, the receiving core is B level. Some of those receivers are like C. Some of them might even be C minus. Some of those receivers I saw looked weak. Jaleel Skinner, tight end, he looks pretty good. He's a former Hurricane. He looks like he's doing pretty good, so good for him. But some of those receivers on their team do not look the greatest. They cannot get any type of separation, which is part of why Miller Moss has been struggling like he has. But there's one receiver on their team that's bringing that average up, and that's Chris Bell, because he is an A player. Chris Bell is a problem, I'm telling you. I'm trying to think of how big. Think about 6'2" or 6'3", somewhere in there. I think it'd be listed on here. Yeah, 6'2", 220 pounds, senior. The dude can go. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, he's a problem. He's a problem for. He got 35 receptions, 502 yards, 4 touchdowns. Which some people might look at that and say, "That's cool. That's not that big of a deal." But when you look at his stats over the last few games, he has been getting busy. Um, Look at what he did against UVA. He had 12 receptions for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's against Virginia, who's a pretty good team. I think it's second or third, probably second or third best team in the ACC, right? And he got 12 receptions for 170 yards. That's exceptional. And 2 touchdowns. And then you look at the game before that, played against Pitt, 10 receptions. If you're getting double-digit receptions, you're getting busy. He had 10 receptions for 135 yards and a touchdown. So they're going to throw the ball to number 0. They're going to throw it to Chris Bell. They're going to. And it makes me wonder if the Hurricanes are going to have this mentality of putting 2 bodies on him, having one safety over the top the entire time, and then maybe pressing him at the line, then having a safety over the top the entire time, and telling everybody else, like, y'all got to just man up and stop everybody else from doing anything. That's kind of what I'm thinking they're going to end up doing. But we shall see. I think that strategy would be the best if we just press him and then have somebody over the top, man everybody else and see what happens. But we shall see. Heatherman is a monster. He's a beast. So I'm sure he's got some kind of game plan lined up for him. We shall see. Also want to talk about that. When it comes to some of these players, one of the first things I'll look at, especially when I watch the game and they impress me, I'm like, I wonder where what their draft stock looks like. Because I was watching, what's his name? I cannot think of his name, but he played for Florida State, and then he ended up playing for the Steelers in the NFL. Bryant, I can't think of his name. But anyway, he was on TV, and he was talking about when he played for Florida State for a few years. He said he only played against this is last year. He said his last year when he played for Florida State, he played against 2 people who were NFL worthy. Only 2 people the entire year. So whenever I watch somebody in a game, I'm like, I wonder if they view this person as NFL worthy or not. And if you look here, his overall rating is an 87 out of 100. And they're considering him as an early second-round pick. So they believe this guy is going to be in the NFL for a few years. If you get picked in the top 2 rounds, you're expected to stay in the NFL for 6 to 8 years, something like that. So this dude is NFL ready. He's an NFL player. He's a senior, so he's going to the NFL next year. I expect Chris Bell to be in the NFL for a good while. We just cannot make him look like a killer against us this coming Friday. Can't let it happen. Got to double him the entire time. Don't let Miller Moss get comfortable throwing the ball to him, because then you have to make late adjustments and leaving other people wide open. We cannot allow that to happen. So I don't really want to give a prediction for this game because I don't like doing predictions. I think if you've listened to me most of this video, you probably know what my prediction would be coming up in this game. I do really get concerned whenever our Hurricanes are playing against a team with a mobile quarterback. So since Miller Moss is not a mobile quarterback, it makes me feel like we should have excellent success against the Louisville Cardinals this Friday. But I'm not gonna give a score. I'm not gonna give anything further than that. I'll just say that I believe we should perform really well against this team this week. So we shall see. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are, man. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know. I'm not going to give y'all a prediction as far as the score goes, but leave in the comment section what you believe the score will be in this game with the Louisville Cardinals against the Hurricanes. Isn't it kind of weird that the ACC now has the Cardinals and the Cardinal? I thought that was kind of weird, but anyway. All right. I will go ahead and get off of here. Y'all take care. God bless. Peace.